Ranga and Melissa woke up to a bright morning at Moonlight Inn. They felt refreshed and ready to continue their adventure. After breakfast, they bid farewell to the innkeeper and left Federica. As they walked along the busy street, they were suddenly greeted by a cheerful and polite girl. The girl's name was Chloe, and she seemed to radiate positivity and kindness. Ranga and Melissa were immediately drawn to her. Chloe greeted them with a warm smile. "Hello, I'm Chloe. Are you travelers? I haven't seen you here before." Chloe nodded and said, "Wow, that sounds really exciting. Can I join in?" Ranga and Melissa looked at each other for a moment before Ranga replied, "Of course we'd love to have you join us, but our journey might be quite dangerous. Are you sure you want to come?" Chloe smiled firmly. "Yes, I am. I want to help save the world too." As the atmosphere became awkward, Chloe sensed the tension between them. With her cheerfulness, she decided to invite Ranga and Melissa to her home in Federica City. "How about you guys just stay at my house while you're in town?" Chloe asked kindly. Ranga and Melissa were hesitant, but eventually they happily accepted the offer. They thanked Chloe and followed her around the city before heading to her house. On the way, Chloe took them to several places in Federica City. "Federica City is really beautiful. I really like this place," Melissa said with a big smile. "That's right, it's very beautiful and peaceful here," added Ranga while observing the trees lining the road. "I agree, Federica City is indeed a paradise for nature lovers and tourists who seek tranquility," Chloe said as she followed their steps. Meanwhile, the locals greeted them kindly, making them feel comfortable and as if they were not in a city they were visiting for the first time. They shopped at the local market and enjoyed regional specialties. Ranga loved the spicy dishes that made him sweat. Melissa, who doesn't like spicy food, spent her time looking at the small shops that line the streets. When Ranga, Melissa, and Chloe arrived in front of Chloe's house, they were amazed by the beauty of the house. The house was built in an elegant modern Japanese style. The walls are made of smooth wood and are beautiful to look at. In front of the house was a neat little garden with a fountain and a chair in the corner, giving a calm and peaceful impression. "Your house is beautiful, Chloe," Melissa complimented as she toured the house. "Thank you," Chloe replied with a happy smile. Ranga nodded in agreement. "But don't you feel lonely here?" he asked. Chloe sighed for a moment before answering, "Of course, there are times when I feel very lonely. However, I try not to think about it too much and focus on my quest to return to the real world." Ranga and Melissa looked at Chloe in awe after hearing the story of her unique ability. "You're really amazing, Chloe," said Ranga. Chloe smiled and replied, "Thank you, Ranga. But I am not alone here. There are strange beings in this dimension who are also part of my life here." "Strange creatures?" said Melissa curiously. Chloe nodded. "Yes, like giant creatures with incredible strength and cute little creatures that like to eat certain things." Ranga and Melissa were fascinated and wanted to know more about the entities in this dimension. "You're not afraid of them?" Melissa asked. Chloe smiled and replied, "At first, I was scared. But then I learned to coexist with them and understand their ways." "How did you do that?" asked Ranga. Chloe took a deep breath. "I started by learning about the natural forces here and how I could control them. From there, I began to understand the entities here and build relationships with them." They were silent for a moment, digesting the story they had just heard. "That's amazing," Melissa finally said. "Yes, I agree," Ranga added. "You had a very unique experience, Chloe." Chloe continued, "The entities in this dimension are very diverse, and I have learned to adapt to their environment. I've found that most of these entities don't want anything to do with humans, so I always try not to interfere with their lives. Ranga and Melissa grew curious and asked, "But don't you feel any fear or worry about entities that might be dangerous?" Chloe smiled and replied, "Of course, I felt scared at first. However, I learned not to judge a book by its cover and tried to understand the reasons behind their behavior. I found that by talking and interacting with these entities, we can understand more about this world and survive better." Ranga and Melissa were amazed by Chloe's positive thinking and wanted to learn more about how to live in this dimension. Chloe smiled and said, "I'm happy to help you guys. I have learned a lot while living in this dimension and I am ready to share my knowledge and experience with you." "Very interesting. Do you have to pay to get this house?" asked Ranga with interest. Hearing his question, Chloe smiled and replied, "Of course not. I bought this house from the previous owner, although the price was much lower than the market price due to its poor condition. However, I'm confident that with a little effort, I can make it into a comfortable and well-functioning place to live. However, I felt lucky that this house had potential and was strategically located. I then started to slowly improve the house with the help of some friends I met in the city. We improved the structure of the house, made it more comfortable, and added some needed facilities. Because of its strategic location and unique design, I also received many offers from people who wanted to buy this house. But I felt too close to the house and decided to make it my permanent residence. And now, I am happy to share this house with you." Melissa looked around and commented, "Your house does look unique and interesting. I love the creative and beautiful decorations." Chloe smiled and said, "Thank you." "Thank you. I'm glad you guys like it. I do like to collect unique and interesting items from various places and combine them with a decorating style that suits this house. We haven't actually used currency in this place. We didn't even see you pay for the food earlier. Can you explain how you have money here?" Melissa asked. "That's it. Regular money works too." "I don't know why," Chloe said. Ranga and Melissa were surprised. Chloe replied, "I even bought this house with my savings in the real world." Chloe invited them into the house while talking. Ranga and Melissa were shocked when Chloe claimed to have that much money. Ranga then asked, "Chloe, sorry to ask, but how do you have the money to buy this house? What did you do before you were thrown into this dimension?" Chloe smiled. "Before I was thrown into this dimension, I worked as an architect. I love the art of architecture and have always dreamed of having my own home designed by myself. So, when I found this house, I saw the potential and decided to fix it up myself." Ranga and Melissa are impressed by Chloe's skills and hard work. They realize that in this new world, the ability and courage to adapt to change is necessary for survival. Chloe showed them around and explained every detail of the house. There is a living room with a glass wall overlooking the garden, a spacious and well-equipped kitchen with modern cooking equipment, and a cozy bedroom with a soft mattress. Not only that, behind the house there is a large garden with various types of beautiful plants and flowers. There is a living room with a glass wall overlooking the garden, a spacious and well-equipped kitchen with modern cooking appliances, and a cozy bedroom with a soft mattress. Not only that, at the back of the house there is a large garden with various types of beautiful plants and flowers. Ranga and Melissa were very impressed with the house. They felt lucky to be able to live there with Chloe. "Thank you, Chloe. We are very grateful to be able to live here," Melissa said with a happy smile on her face. Chloe responded with a smile and said, "You're welcome. It also makes me happy to live with such kind-hearted friends. Oh yeah, how about we form a team to go on an adventure in this new world?" Ranga and Melissa looked happy with the idea. They agreed to form a team and go on an adventure together. Life in this new world might be difficult, but with courage, skill, and friendship, they were sure they could overcome all the challenges that lay ahead. Ranga and Melissa glanced at each other enthusiastically. They had never joined a team before, but they felt stronger and more confident with the cooperation and friendship between them. I agree with that idea, Chloe. Let's start looking for a challenging adventure, said Ranga enthusiastically. Chloe smiled. That's great. I'm sure our team will be the greatest in the world. She looked out the garden window and gazed at the beautiful scenery. But before we start, there's something I want to show you guys. They walked out of the house and into the back garden. There was a large, clear pond. This is the pond I built myself a while ago. I'm really happy with how it turned out, Chloe said. Melissa looked around and glanced at the pond. Wow, it's really beautiful. Did you build it yourself? Chloe nodded. Yes, I built it from scratch and added some water plants to make it more beautiful. Melissa smiled. You really are multi-talented, Chloe. Why don't we go swimming there now? Good idea, Chloe said. Chloe took Melissa's hand and led her into Chloe's room to change into her swimsuit while Ranga. Sorry, we don't have any men's swimsuits. But if the women's swimsuit is okay. I understand, Chloe. I'll wait outside. You guys can enjoy swimming together. Thank you, Chloe said as she closed the door to her room. In the cute room, Chloe and Melissa sat on the soft bed while talking about more personal things. So, Chloe, did you have a boyfriend in the old world? Melissa asked. Chloe chuckled. No, I'm too focused on work and adventure. What about you, Melissa? Melissa shook her head. I haven't found the right person yet either. But I'm sure someday I'll meet someone who makes my heart flutter. Chloe smiled. I'm sure you will. You're beautiful and smart. Whoever becomes your boyfriend will be lucky. Melissa turned bright red at the compliment. Thank you, Chloe. You're also pretty and smart, so I'm sure there will be plenty of guys interested in you. Chloe smiled shyly. There's nothing special about me. However, Melissa insisted, of course there is. You're smart, talented, and great at adventure. You're a wonderful friend, Chloe. The two smiled, and then there was silence for a moment. Suddenly, Chloe saw a photo on the small bedside table and she held it gently. This is a picture of my family, Chloe said in a soft voice. Melissa nodded. They must miss you. But you have us now, right? Chloe smiled. Yes, you guys are my new family. And I'm grateful to have met such good friends in this new world. Melissa smiled. We're grateful to be friends with you too, Chloe. We'll protect and support each other in this new world. The fan service story ends there, but Chloe and Melissa's intimacy and friendship is getting stronger. Meanwhile, Ranga sat by the pool watching Chloe and Melissa frolicking in the water. He couldn't help but smile when he saw the two girls laughing and playing around with great joy. However, when Melissa grabbed Chloe's swimsuit on a whim, Chloe suddenly became embarrassed and asked Melissa to return her clothes. Melissa just laughs and promises to give it back if Chloe promises to tell her secret. Anxiously, Chloe agreed and revealed her secret to Melissa. You know, Mel, I actually have a problem with my body, Chloe said hesitantly. Melissa looked at Chloe with concern. What do you mean? She asked gently. I feel insecure about my body. I always feel like I'm too fat and don't measure up to my friends, Chloe explained in a low voice. Melissa hugged Chloe tightly. You can't feel like that, Chloe. You're beautiful just the way you are. You don't need to compare yourself to other people, Melissa said firmly. Chloe cried softly. I tried to follow a diet and exercise regimen, but it didn't work. I still feel insecure about my appearance, she said sadly. Melissa held both of Chloe's hands and looked sincerely into her eyes. You have to believe in yourself, Chloe. You're more than just your looks. You're good at so many things, and I'll always support you, Melissa said with a smile. Chloe felt very relieved after revealing her secret and felt very grateful to have a friend like Melissa who always supported her. Melissa spoke silently to herself. Chloe, you mean the fat on your stomach. How outrageous your misconceptions have been. A little stupid, but cute. In an annoyed tone. Thank you, Melissa, Chloe said with a small smile. But I don't feel comfortable in my own body. I always feel like the fattest person among my friends. Melissa released her hug and looked at Chloe seriously. You need to stop comparing yourself to other people, Chloe. Your body is your own and you should love it for what it is. Remember that beauty comes from within, not without. Chloe nodded, though still feeling unsure. I'm trying to accept myself, but it's hard for me. Melissa smiled gently. You're not alone, Chloe. A lot of people feel that way. But I'll always be here to support you and help you through this. Chloe smiled back, feeling very grateful to have a friend like Melissa. However, she couldn't help but feel insecure about her appearance. Melissa looked at the swimsuit Chloe had chosen. You know, Chloe, you look beautiful in that swimsuit. In fact, I'm jealous of your six-pack and lean body, Melissa said as she pointed at Chloe's stomach. Chloe was shocked. Really? I always thought I looked fat on my stomach. Melissa shook her head. No, you're wrong. You have a healthy and beautiful body. You should be confident and show your beauty to the world. Chloe smiled widely, feeling more confident after hearing Melissa's words. She felt lucky to have such a good friend. Epilogue. After finishing swimming, Chloe and Melissa headed to the terrace to dry their hair and bodies. Rango was sitting and enjoying a cup of hot tea. They both felt refreshed after swimming and talked about their plans to visit another beach this summer. However, suddenly there was a very loud knock on the door. The three of them looked at each other in confusion, not expecting anyone's arrival at this moment. Who would come like that? Asked Melissa as she stood up from her chair and walked towards the door. Chloe and Rango followed Melissa and stood behind her. When Melissa opened the door, they were surprised to see someone they hadn't expected standing at the door.